Hi, I wanted to start with a video on how to practice because it's very important to get anywhere on an instrument or a new skill or a new habit to practice. And so I wanted to give you the skills in order for you to be able to practice for the next month and have successful outcomes in this class. So the first thing is that committing to a daily practice is essential. So that time frame of daily practice can be from 5 to 20 minutes, and there can be a variety of length of time to flow into your day, but touching your instrument daily is a key to having successfully learning the foundational skills and the rhythms and the songs, etc. So your goal should be to practice daily with occasional day offs. And I want you to take a second and just think about what your day looks like and when you could fit in a practice and how long that practice could be. Now, if you wanted to spend more time on your drum and practice 20 minutes, but you don't have a chunk of 20 minutes that feels achievable, another way you can do it is you can do 4 sessions of 5 minutes, or you could do 3 sessions of 7 minutes, etc., etc. So you can break up your time, and that is fine, okay? But you definitely need to commit to a daily practice. So I hope that you are on board with that. Okay, so now when you sit down to practice, so now you have your 5 to 25 minutes of time. When you sit down, it's really important that you structure your practice in a way that you can make progress. Because a lot of times we want to just practice what we're good at, right? It feels good. We're like, yeah, I know how to do this. But it's really important when we play our drum that we practice what we are not good at, because we have to get better. So when I sit down to practice, I usually practice about 15 to 20 minutes a day on my instrument. The things that I do is I start with basic strokes that I'm working on. So for example, for us, that would be the different strokes, doom, pa, tek, ka, and brushes. And I set a timer and I play those for about 1.5 to 2 minutes each, just focusing on one stroke at a time, really listening to my drum, giving it my full attention on that stroke, and trying to perfect the movement and the sound. Now, after that, what I do is then I start working on either combinations or rhythms or a specific song or a specific piece that I'm working on. So I spend about 10 more minutes working, or it could be less, 5 minutes, working on a specific rhythm or song or piece. And then I always leave time at the very end of my practice to celebrate. And the way that I celebrate could be a variety of ways. If I'm feeling ungrounded and I feel a little scatterbrained, then the way that I celebrate my practice is I just play a meditative shamanic beat or something that feels really nurturing to me. But if I'm feeling just, like happy and good, then the other thing I do is I just improvise for the last 5 minutes. I just make up rhythms. I just try to play. I try to think of different patterns and play them and try to let it flow. So once I start my 5-minute improvisation piece, then I continue it. I don't stop and think about this or that. I just try to work technique into it. If I make mistakes, it's fine. I just try to really be in the flow. So that is sort of how I structure my practice. And another way, though, is if you feel like your life is a little more chaotic, and you don't have time to structure it, then I highly recommend leaving your drum and the unfolding to the beat teaching material out somewhere where you walk by regularly. So it's out on a little table or in a little hallway, and whenever you walk by, you just pick it up for a minute and you play something on that sheet. Now again, you want to make sure you're playing different aspects of the sheet, so you're working through all the material. But that's really helpful if you have more of a chaotic life and you just walk by and you play a little thing. You get to play for a minute or two and then you put it down and continue on your way. That is also super helpful to do. Now, another tool you should have in your toolbox when practicing is a metronome. A metronome I have on my app, but I also have a physical one. And what it is it actually, oh, that is the wrong thing. Okay, sorry, hold on. I'm going to pull up my metronome. It's actually a machine that keeps a pulse for you. It sounds like this. And I can change the tempo. I can change the accent patterns. I don't know, people really get into this. Oh, I can't do that, I guess. It doesn't matter. So what it does is it allows me to be responsible to this machine for keeping steady time. And so I use this to play along my basic strokes or my combinations, and it helps me learn how to keep a steady time. All musicians use these. Now, a few little metronome keys. When you don't hear the metronome anymore, that means you're in time with it. And when you start to hear it going it's a little faster than you or it's a little slower, that means you are getting off the metronome beat. So when you really get locked into it, you probably won't hear it as much, which is a little strange. Another thing about the metronome, it can be really frustrating to play with a metronome at the beginning. So what I like to do is I like to think of it as a friend that's coming over to play music with me, and their job is just to hold down the tempo, okay? And I get to do the fancy stuff. And for some reason that has helped me embrace the love of the metronome. Very helpful tool. So you can download that on an app. There's physical ones you can buy at music stores. You can order online. But get yourself a metronome and play along to the metronome. It's very, very important. Okay, so what else? The other thing I want you to think about is you'll need to practice at the beginning just holding the drum. Okay, so what I want you to do is just get the drum held in your hand and see if you can take your other hand off and you can just balance the drum. Now, a really helpful way to do this is, like I was saying, you just don't put your drum away. Keep your drum out in a place that you can just grab and play all the time. And you can just pick up your drum and you can just walk around the house. You're putting this away, you're doing that, whatever you're doing around your house, and you just hold the drum and you're learning how to kind of move through doorways and around obstacles, and that's going to strengthen your holding hand so that then when we come to playing the drum later, you'll have some strength and it'll be easier to just balance the drum and feel comfortable. Okay, now music, playing, and practicing, have it serve you. What do you need? What is good to get out of your practice? What are the ways you can build strength and discipline and endurance? Have your music practice serve you. So if you need grounding, if you need a time that's just by yourself that feels sacred or feels special, if you need to drum out some extra energy you have or emotions, have this rehearsal serve you. So you're going to be working on the material I gave you, but also make sure that there's a part of it that's serving you and is helping you feel like it's enhancing your day. It's important for your day. And that's really how you're going to get this to stick as a practice and as a change to use this power tool, this drum, to help connect to a deeper part of yourself. And the other thing is keep the end goal in mind. So what are we doing? Why are we practicing this? Right now, your goal is that in about a month, October 24th, we are going to get together and I will have the expectation that you have mastered or nearly mastered all of these things that I'm giving you on your sheet so that we can review and enjoy ourselves playing, and then we can move on to the next steps of our drum journey. So keep that goal in mind and don't get caught up in the super nitty-gritty perfectionist details, because if you spend all the time on the first part of the page and you never turn the page and look at the second part, then you're forgetting half of what our goal is for this month. Okay, and one final tip, thanks for watching this video, is that if you're having extra challenges setting up a discipline and practicing, one really helpful motivation is having a study group. So that's a group of people that are in our Google Classrooms. You guys get together on some kind of format, whether it's Google Chats or Facebook or Zoom, whatever it may be, and you set up a day once a week or twice a week where you just play through the material, ask each other questions, and then just have a study group. That's really, really motivating, especially for beginners. And so I highly recommend, if you need that, to reach out to other people in the group, because you're probably not alone. And if you need extra help setting that up, you can contact me. All right, so I hope this has been informative and helpful, and setting up a practice routine is essential to moving forward in this class. So really make sure you commit to that aspect. Okay, see you in a bit.